many of you in this room have known me for years. And you know that I've lost campaigns before. And there's always a tomorrow. Don't cry any tears for me. I would like to be able to congratulate Congresswoman Kaptur, but I do have to say that she ran a campaign in the Cleveland media market that was utterly lacking in integrity, with false statements, half-truths, misrepresentations.
Mariola, New York on WOR. Thanks for calling. Welcome to the program. On what's your topic?
Dr. Savage, as I listen to you, I can speak on everything. I'm going to have to send you an email because Scientology, a college roommate I hadn't seen in years, called me up, picked me up at my doorstep, brought me to a New York symposium kind of thing. She swore up and down it was no one would hug me or kiss me or welcome me. I said, I swear if anyone does this, the minute we got there, I was hugged and kissed and passed around. And it was more like the rah-rah,
Oh.
And it was called light.
In other words, you were welcomed into the cult right away.
Then you're talking about your fellow in the basement that you knew. My father actually rigged up an illegal smoker in our suburban tiny neighborhood.
Oh, you're going back to my photo story.
Exactly. Then I just purchased a camera this Sunday. I don't know if I'll tell you.
Oh, see, you're relating to all my stories that I threw out today.
Original Canon AE1 manual or, a couple f-stops, and I loved my general photography class in college. Loved that smell in the dark room.
So in other words, you enjoy the diversity of my mind.
It's a stream of consciousness. I was going with it. Cars. I had an 1971 midget.
Wait, who yelled in the background? Who just said cars? Your husband?
No. Who was that?
Somebody just primed you and said also cars. I heard it.
I had an MG Midget 1971 chrome bumper, candy apple red. My father bought it as a project for $400.
Oh, that's beautiful. Keep going. Give me my whole stream of consciousness backwards.
Yes, you know what? Summer car, Dr. Savage, did not run in the winter, and I learned it was something with the oil, right? Wasn't it like a lawnmower oil in the...
What's the worst sports car ever made in history? What? Remember the old Fiat? Remember the Fiats? Fix it again, Tony?
The Fiat. My uncles in Poland, we all rode around in Fiats and Hugos. I think it was called a Hugo.
Oh, the Hugo lasted three minutes, I think, that car. It had a 3-minute warranty. If it ran for longer than 3 minutes, it was considered a miracle.
Ready? I'm going. I'm continuing, Dr. Savage. The neti pot, my friends and neighbors. Husband's Israeli. He's Dr. Yama. He's an anesthesiologist. His wife is Dr. Schlussel. She works at Rutgers University. They do the neti pot. They brought the thing over probably from Israel. So what is Mariel?
Well, as long as they're using distilled water, that's kosher. I'm sure it's fine. What you have to do is not use river water with amoeba in it.
Oh, my gosh, Dr. Savage, I wrote all that down. Do you know, I was doing that. I was the person doing that. I gave myself the worst sinus infection. I'm glad I didn't have a brain.
Oh, what, from the neti pot?
Although that's debatable. Yes, I started doing that on my own.
Oh, wait. You're saying that the neti pot made your sinus infection worse?
No, you know what? Because I did exactly what you said not to do. I was not using any distilled water of any kind.
Oh, you were using tap water.
Lucky to be alive, Dr. Savage.
Where do you live? Where do you live in the New York area?
I live in central Jersey, right outside of Rutgers University.
Well, and you were using tap water?
Yes, awful. I know.
Well, okay, it's polluted water. So that and when you take polluted water right into your sinuses, it's going right into your system. Now, look, let's be clear. Let's not get panicky over this. The fact of the matter is, if you give your child a bath in a bathtub, they're probably ingesting water, right? Don't they? Kids they play in a bathtub and they get water in their nose. They're not going to die from it.
Right, but you mentioned...
what are you going to do now? You're going to start bathing children in distilled water? I mean, think about this. This could set off a whole panic.
The intelligent doctors who would make or somebody was making their children drink tap water to build up, an immunity to what we have in our world today, right?
Well, actually, yes. That's a system that we've used in our house. We didn't want to make the children so overly refined that they couldn't survive on a glass of water in a restaurant.
Right.
I mean, let's be crazy here. It's like, I'm going to tell you something else. Let's say you have houseplants, right? And you want to put water in your houseplant. If you give them distilled water, that plant will die. You know that, don't you?
I found that out with a fish as well.
But wait, why does distilled water kill a plant, and why does tap water permit it to live? Because there are minerals in tap water that have not been removed. Even though there's some toxicants, and even though there's chlorine, there are minerals in water. If you use distilled water, the minerals have been taken out of the water, and the plant has no minerals to draw from the water, and it dies.
See that? Yep.
See, common sense is lacking today. Now, let's go back again to the Fiat. You had a Fiat in Poland?
You know what? My uncles did. My family members
were they as bad there as they were here? Because we had jokes, fix it again, Tonys. Did that get... How do you say fix it again, Tony, in Polish?
In Polish, popraw znowu Antoine.
Wait a minute. Oh, you're quick on the draw. I was joking. You really did have a way to... But it doesn't match FIAT, does it?
In Poland, I came to the United States as an...
No, but the reason we said fix it again, Tony, because the Fiats are always breaking down. Oh, but you can't use that acronym with the Polish for it. It won't work, right?
But listen, no, it doesn't translate. The humor doesn't translate.
Oh, so say it in Polish again. Let me just listen to it for 1 minute.
Popraw znowu Antoine.
So what would the words be? P?
Popraw.
P?
P-R-A-V. Sounds like Russian a little, right?
Yeah, so it'd have to be a Prav instead of a Fiat. You'd have to drive a Prav instead of you'd have to drive a Putin car.
Hey, J-Lo was riding around in commercials. Ford bought Fiat, didn't they? They're beautiful. They're...
No. I think the Fiat family bought Chrysler, which got an amazing couple of $1 billion for free from the United States of America through the bailout, which is an untold story of one of the great scams of all time.
Yes. My sister's sister-in-law is a finance manager at Ford, but yes, you're right. They are now also Chrysler, and they have the Ford...
There you go. That's right. They got a little handout from the Obama administration. It kicked up right to the all roads lead to Rome.
All right, I'm going to continue here because you talked about pseudonym.
Yeah, we're doing stream of consciousness, right? In the middle of it, we're throwing in politics.
I yell at my husband not to take these and the sinus medicines, and you clarified that. You said why. However, here's the funny thing. Years ago, going back to photography, I spritzed water all over a beautiful azalea and took my macro zoom lens and went up to it. Named Do Pseudo. Get it? Fake do. Pseudo do.
You named the plant Pseudo do?
Doesn't that sound Asian? Do Pseudo. So I thought that was very clever.
No, you're very clever. How does your husband put up with you? You're so smart.
It's really tough. It's tough, I'm telling you.
Do you talk a lot? Are you like one of these women who really have such an active mind that you can't stop talking?
Dr. Savage, I am telling you, I look forward to your program because you...
Well, my mind is, I got to be honest with you, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. The way I think and the way I speak is very female, incidentally. Am I right or wrong about that? I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yep.
You see, women think more like I do. Guys are more two-dimensional in their thinking. They're very regimented. They're very regimented in their thinking, and it's A, B, C, D, E. Nothing wrong with that. Very logical. I can be very logical when I want to be, but I find that when I'm into the artistic mode of the radio show, I've really got to get into the other side of my mind, so to speak, or of my soul, in order to even enjoy doing it myself, or I can't do radio.
Dr. Savage, you tap into all of it. And speaking of tapping out and wrestling, are you ready? My husband...
Look at you. You won't stop.
My husband is a martial...
You won't stop. You're amazing. You go from one thing to the other and you make sense. This is amazing. You go from tap into everything and tap out. Go ahead, yeah.
Oh, there's the pun, tap out. So my husband watches this MMA. I have to tell you, he went to the state champs in high school. He was a captain of the wrestling team, traditional wrestling. Loves martial arts. Always, he did kung fu, he did karate, he did all of that stuff. He really doesn't believe necessarily in the belt system. He does it for, like you say, the mind and the body, all of that.
Okay, right.
And he was he's a salesman. He works for a media company, and he went to a store. And there was a woman there, an Asian woman in the back, and, they were talking about martial arts, and the man said, you have to meet, I think, my mother. I think it was the man's mother. So this woman comes out. I think she was around 86 years old. Dr. Savage, my husband said she took her hands, and you know all about Qi. You know about Qi.
Yep.
hands, and she just went from my husband's name is Carl with a K, went from the top of Carl's head all the way down his body. He said he felt heat like someone is holding a flame.
What do you mean? This old woman touched his hand and he felt the energy run through his body?
Didn't even touch him. No contact, just right next to his body with her hands. Like, that's how she could.
Oh, so she was a martial arts master.
I have no idea. She was an 86-year-old woman that they brought from the back because, my husband and this fellow started...
Yeah, no, I can believe it. I have a character like her in my forthcoming novel, the next incarnation of the Jack Hatfield series. There's a woman exactly like her. I mean, there are people who can do that. I'm not one of them.
I was
now you're going to set me off. Now I won't be able to stop and take a commercial break. I was just looking out of one of my windows this morning, and here in Northern California, some of the fruit trees are starting to flower, okay? So you see the small flowers coming up from where we trim back the twigs, right? To induce them to grow more fruit, okay? And I was just looking at the flowers this morning and thinking about exactly what you just said. Where does the energy come from for that flower to grow? It comes from the earth, doesn't it? It comes all the way out of the soil, all the way through the xylem and phloem, all the way up the stems, up the trunk, through the stems into the flower, correct?
Correct.
Well, the martial artist will tell you, as will any performer or any painter, any creator, anybody who does anything, that all their energy comes from the earth. All of it comes out of the universe. You have to tap into an energy field or an energy source in order to do anything in this world. Am I wrong or right?
You are right, absolutely.
So we finished. I tapped you out because you can't say anything to that.
I will say, I'm tapped out. I have to.
Can your husband, as strong as he is, can he tap you out verbally?
You know what? We won't go there. But I pray.
Oh, well, you're welcome on this show anytime. You've been an incredible fun person to talk to. I love talking with you. And if I had the new book to give you already, I would. But in a week or two, we're going to start the promotion for Trickle Down Tyranny. And you'll get a copy if you call back. You promise to call me every Wednesday?
I will call you whenever you want me to. Every Wednesday, you got it.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Savage.